Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the sound test room. Today we are taking a look at BeatMaker 3. This is a tutorial for beginners. Okay, so when you first open the app, it's about making beats and loops and stuff, very quickly without having to go into all the complex stuff that you can do if you want to. So new session is the first thing we want to hit there. And we want to use this. These are the stuff you get for free, so you can download all this stuff for nothing when you buy the app. If you get the Ashes kit here, you can just drag and drop it into the thing there. If that color is not appealing to you, you can close that page, go up here, choose color, and select one that's more pleasant, if you like, for your eyes. We'll use that one. Also, then we can just close our color thing there, and we're presented with this page, and here's our kit. That's the one we're going to use. And then we're going to add another channel in a moment when I've recorded some drums. So first of all, to set up your loop length is the thing you might want to record over more than one bar. It will default to 1 bar, but let's record it over 2. And as soon as I move this, the little looper will come on. Anyway, we'll set it on 90 BPM there, and our quantize settings will be on 16, and you can have quantize notes on or off, it's your choose. You can choose your pre-roll. We'll leave it on 1 bar, so we get a counting of 1 bar. Okay, and this one is for automations. They're both at recording automations is off, and re-enable on loop is on. Okay. That's all you need to know, and it's kind of set up for you already, this basic stuff, Anyway, you can choose your tempo there, etc., etc. So this is the mixer page, and we have our Ashes kit here in channel 1, as you can see. And then this page here is the sample edit page, and this is very complex, so you don't need to worry about this when you're first getting into BM3. But it is very, very, very powerful and pretty much allows you to do anything you want with your samples. Okay, so first of all, it will give you a metronome that you can play over to set up your initial beat. I've got it recording over 2 bars, so all we need to do to get started is to hit this little record button. It will give us a 2-bar count in. One bar counting, sorry. Now what we can do now is just add over the top of that, but at the moment that'll be fine for now, so we'll just stop that and we'll go to our sequencer page. Now what we can do here, we can do several things. We can select this and we can duplicate it, so now we have 2 of them, and then we can just move that along, and now it will loop over the 4 and then go back again. Okay, that's good. So what we could do now is we could move our position markers to this second block here, you see. Okay, and then if you wanted to edit some of those notes, you can just hit the MIDI editor there. And then you can add notes or take them away. Okay, so there, go back to our song page, touch on there, and we're done. So now what will happen is our play will play from, if we set our timeline, we can set our timeline, we can move it along like this, but we can just touch on anywhere in the grids that we want. But let's start our timeline there, and it will loop the second 2 bars. Okay, and when we stop it, it will go back to the beginning of where our position marker is on, because we have loop switched on. That's important. Okay, so if we go back to our main page now, let's create a new bank, and let's go to our banks page here. So you can close this and you can enter this anytime you like, and you've got sessions, bank samples, plugins. You don't need to worry about banks at the moment. And I'm going to put this bass passenger in there. Sorry about the head wasn't the camera. We're just going to drag that in there. Now, there are a couple of ways to load your loops and packs and things. We can either drag and drop like we did with the drum kit, like that. Or we can make sure it's selected, like it is, and we can hit load bank, and it's in there then. And that's that. So we're going to add that bass over because we don't want to be spending hours choosing different sounds and stuff. So we're going to add this bass over our initial pattern there. So if we can close our session view now, and we can just go to record. Now, if we go to our thing, you'll see that I went slightly over. That's not a problem there. We just tap on that and we can drag that back in. And we can also then go back to our drum track here, and we could add in some notes. But we'll do it with our, what's it? Now just let me make sure I'm in the right. So you can see across the top there that you're in your second set of 2 bars sort of thing. So we're going to add some hi-hats to that now. So I just can hit record and jump in anytime I like. Right, so let's see what we've got now. If we go to our session view, we can go to our songs. So you've got songs, scenes, and patterns. You can edit that. If we now extend our loop back again, or we can switch loop off, let's just stop that so it goes back to the beginning. We should have our new patterns play normally and then revert back to the drum pattern with nothing in it at all. Okay, so now you've got that, we could say, oh, well, let's choose these down here. We've got cut. We don't want to be worrying about cutting things yet. We can select all like this, or parts of all. Okay, exit just by touching on the screen. So if I selected those 2 now, I can duplicate both of those here, and it will just move them along. So I'll have 2 sets. Pardon me, and then we can move this along here like that. We can move that there along like that, and we could add something else. So let's do that. Let's add another bank, another instrument, or another drum kit, or whatever you choose you would like to think you would like to add to your track now. But you get the idea about it. Now, without going into the complexities of this, by the way, whatever you select here, you see if we have select on, everything will select. Okay, so if you don't want to do that and you just want the thing to be the movable target sort of thing, or you just maybe wanted to select one, make sure you're on your little hand control there that moves along. Okay, now we're going to add another track. Okay, so we're going to go back to our thing here. We're going to do this. We're going to go create new bank, and then you can continue to create banks as much as you like. Okay, so if we go now to bank C, we can close this. Let's choose, I don't know. These are, you get, like I said, you get all these for free. So we could go to, say, I don't know, Soul Keys. And because it's tracked over 16 pads, this is, but we don't need to worry about that, because if we hit keys, you can control this with your MIDI controller as well, but that's okay. So I'm going to record that, but I'd like to record something over the entire track. So to get back to that, I'm going to set my loop length here, make sure that my loop is on, but it will be until you actually disable it now. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my page where my keys is and hit this little keyboard icon here, and I'm just going to have a quick play along, see how it sounds. It might sound rubbish, to be fair, but there you go. It doesn't really matter for the purposes of the tutorial. So again, it'll give us 1 bar count. disarm record. Okay, and on and on and on you can go. Now let's have a quick look at the mixer. Our mixer were, I think, our soul keys there was a bit too loud, so now we can drop it down in the mixer a bit. Also now you can start to add effects, etc., to individual tracks. So you selected the track that you would say like, oh, maybe I want some sort of effect on the soul keys. Okay, and you've got your pan controls on your mute and solo as well. But you also have here effects. Now this will be, as you can see, C1, soul keys, and these are all your effects here. Now you have absolutely, you can add an effect. You have absolutely tons of effects. But let's have a play around with some of the effects to see how they sound. So. Let's look at the bass. For some reason, it seems to be affecting there. Better. A little bit of delay on that bass, lovely. Now you're not affected if we look at the drum kit and we go to the effects for the drum kit. You can, of course, let's see. But you can scroll down and you can add more effects. Okay, now you can also use audio units inside of BeatMaker. And Interap audio units are great. So if you've got audio units loaded on, then you can quite happily use them on your drums. Or, of course, you can use any of the different effects that also come with BeatMaker. So I've just put this stereo delay in there now for that. Really want a delay, but you might do. Okay, so basically that, without going any further, is starts to complicate things. There's how you can basically get going with your mixer, adding effects to your individual tracks, adding banks. So we did add that bank, and we know that that bank is also clear, so it allows us to just go there and we can add anything we like to our, we can add another drum kit if we want here. Close that. We could start again. And then when you're happy and you want to go and have a cup of coffee, like I'm going to do now, you can save, and you could call it basics. Okay. And then it's done. You can either copy the samples and save bank save. You can just hit save, and it'll, next time you open if you go to your sessions now, so we could go to say this one, and we could just load that session. Okay, but we've already saved it, so it's not a problem. We stop this, and then we could go to sessions again. Here we go sessions, and we go, which one did we just save there? Basics, load session. Okay, and it'll be, so you can see it's pretty easy. I mean, there was no real plan there what I was going to do, so it's pretty easy to get like a nice a loop, a beat going sort of thing, a loop, and then you can, of course, you can export it wherever you like. That's really easy as well. So if you wanted to work on it in something else, you could just hit export here. You can choose what it exports. So I mean, you could export the high, choose to export the whole 4 bars or whatever it is, or 8 bars even. If it was 8 bars, you can choose the whole thing basically to export wherever you like. And then you can choose it whether it's normalized, it's 32-bit, 24-bit, 16-bit, and then export. And then once it exports, you can, and this is it. If you hit there, it'll be, I think it's in iTunes, but if you hit share, you can choose where it goes basically there. So you could choose it to copy to audio share, and it's saved in the raw Cubase or wherever. And there's the loop. And it was an 8-bar loop, and I only exported 4 bars. That's why I cut off short. So there you go. And then it'll be in your your thing here somewhere. So there's BeatMaker 3, and yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a very complex app though. If you really need to dig in. So depending on which, like I said, where you are, if you were on whichever pattern you'd selected sort of thing, and then you went to the sampler page, there you can make loads and loads of very complex and cool adjustments to your samples and things. You can multi-layer samples. You want to check out Electronic Sounds Audio, his YouTube channel, Electronic Sounds Audio, because Dean does incredible tutorials for BM3, but the complex stuff, So, yeah, if you enjoyed this, guys, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys later. Okay, it's BM3. Top job indeedy. And very, very, very good app. But easy as well. Not too overly complicated to actually get a good beat going. All right, guys, see you later.